What's up, everybody? I'm Yogi Chris, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and captain of IMC Nation. Here from IMC Base 1, Stoic Temple, we have a placard. It's official. The front door, every mailman who delivers here will come to know the name IMC Base 1, unless they don't look up. Maybe they're looking down. And this is Enlightened Masculinity podcast. Show's getting more views than ever, and it keeps growing. So shout out Enlightened Masculinity to all the staff there. IMC Jeremiah, IMC Tony K, making it possible. And if you're catching the recording there, then, get involved by clicking the link in the description that gets you involved with everything. So Enlightened Masculinity, if this is your first time to the show on the recording, it's a red pill show about masculinity, and I'm captain of IMC Nation. So a lot of these episodes are going to be talking about IMC Nation. And even if I don't talk about IMC Nation, which I pretty much do always, so that's like not even really possible. The tech and what I share, so much of it is IMC Nation, which is AZD, and somewhat the mastermind that comes to AZD through his teaching. So we get to learn from each man's experience, which helps us get a lot of certainty. We gain certainty on relationships and communications by masterminding with other men who have or are aiming to really take ownership of their responsibilities, their karma, their ethics, their relationships, basically the effects that they create for themselves. It's like law of attraction meets like, a Viking warrior slash a pimp or a Casanova. You know what I'm saying? It's nice, right? It's a nice concoction. Like Shamir, who's here doing his residency for becoming guardian at base 4, which is in Vegas. So if you're new to this, we have bases. These are like a military base you can think of. It's about 3 to 7 people in a base. And so he's at base 4 in Vegas, Las Vegas. Here doing his guardian training. So he made a pasta with ingredients, and it came out really nice. It had probably 3 ingredients. So that's what I thought of. Viking warrior song. So certainty, we gain a lot of certainty, and that is really important for unsaid reasons that I can say if you want to talk about it. This episode is dialogues with you all, dialogues with Shamir, who's here. And then when the guys come back, we have guardians Fernando and Sultan live here. And Alex Palacio is now here, just arrived for his residency at base 2, which is in San Jose. So we can start off with any sort of dialogues if you wanted to raise your hand or here. I don't like to break the flow. So a lot of times I'll just kind of end the silence. I'll break it with like my own, especially here in the beginning of an episode. Anybody listening to an episode on a recording, they lose attention real fast. So you got to keep it going. And then new people, they'll lose attention real fast. They'll, at 5 minutes into it, they're not forgiving of like pauses or whatever, So Michael, I saw you unmuted. You're all healing, mending in your condition. What's up?
Yeah, so I'm really wanting to get
Michael
into
Green.
I'm really wanting to get into the base, like which
IMC Michael Green.
Like
You gotta have a nickname before you get into a base. You can't have your government name.
I already chose a nickname for me.
Yeah, what is it?
I got my own nickname for me.
What is it?
Rebel IMC.
Rebel what?
IMC.
Rebel IMC?
Yeah,
just Rebel for short, because if you were living in the base with me, I wouldn't call you Rebel IMC every time. It would just be like Rebel. Hey, Rebel.
Already.
Rebel. All right. So there's Rebel. So
okay, man, and then I wanna find out like where the guys are like I've been rolled with Shamir. Like I know Shamir, like he's one of the most dedicated motherfuckers. Then you got Miracle J. Sure. That I remember Miracle J from back when we all first met, but I don't know if he's still living in Houston.
He just based up in Phoenix
to Arizona. So
yeah, so they made the commitment, they moved across the country, but they had been in communication for a long time. Keep in mind, Miracle J was on my staff for like over a year, and he's been around a long time, but he's been on my staff for over a year, which means like he's been doing kind of work trade. I don't really pay the guys, so it's kind of like free labor or whatever, but they get to participate in IMC and learn the inner workings. Like Miracle J has been a jack of all trades and all sorts of things. And right now he's
Yeah.
responsible for all the IMC officers, guardians, lieutenants, crusade. They need to be streaming each week, and he keeps track of them. He has a check-in group for that. And he does other things dealing with like TikTok posting and Instagram posting on my business page, which is part of our business model. Like we promote those and things like that. So he's a piece of it, and he's been involved, which means each week he meets with me and the team. And so I've been nudging and pushing them, and I'm real proud of Base 5 because 4 of those 5 guys are IMC staff: Jordan Amari and IMC Cygnus and Zay Simba. So those 4 guys, and then they're there with Aaron Luna. So right now they're still solidifying a 5-bedroom. And so keep in mind, they've been talking about it for 12 to 18 months amongst themselves and others, because not everybody made the cut. They kept talking about it and planning it. And I was nudging them. And I get a text here from AZD, but it's to the group.
It takes time. I know it takes time. And like, I know it's all about being closer with the brothers, you know? So I understand it.
Well, yeah, it takes time and communication, good communication, trust. And what you got going for you is that loyalty factor, because you've always been consistently shouting out AZD since you've been around, and you've given it your all. And, you know, it's a humbling thing to live and kind of start to separate from the opinions of other people, and then all of a sudden need to depend on the opinions of other people to get into a base and so on. But they're not just other people, they're your tribe. And so we learned this distinction between the opinions of our tribe versus the opinions of other people. And we got to nurture that opinions of our tribe, you know, really well. And that's what it takes. You know, that's going to be that X factor that gets you into wherever you end up with whoever. Because if you hold that and you keep communicating that, and I think anything's possible, man, for sure.
Already, because, you know, we all know it's all a vibe. So yeah, anything's possible with that. For sure.
All right. Anything else? That's great. That's the IMC base. So anybody new to this podcast, you'd be getting a take on that. I know JP was definitely interested in that part of the dialogue. You know, he's in New Zealand, and there's other guys in New Zealand, but they got you know, they're a little scattered. There's 3 guys in New Zealand, and they're all loyal. JP's the newest. They're just, you know, you also got to have resources, and you know, there's probably needs to be some willingness to change your life. I mean, everybody's changing their life that's in a base. Like take the Kusei, Oracle, and Powerhouse. They're having to change their business around and reallocate their money and everything. And those are very successful guys. Other guys, you know, Pyro moved, like the guys that didn't have to move at all. Not in base 1, nobody. Base 2, nobody. Base 3, maybe Chris Cruz and Jaime and Valencia. Those are 3 guys that didn't have to really move very far. They kept their jobs where they were at and what they were doing. Base 4, Eros. Obviously, base 1 is AZD. He stayed here. Base 4, Eros stayed there. Everybody else moved. You know, base 5, Master myself, Jordan Amari was there. Luna is there, so 2 guys are there, and 3 guys moved. And so of all the bases, there's like 25, 26 guys based up right now, and like 7 of them didn't move across the country. Jesus. And then so the others, 18 or so, moved across the country. Or at the very least, maybe like Palacio and Sultan moved an hour and a half. So they still had to change jobs, change house, you know, visiting.
That's my bad for cutting you off. I should be asking Zay himself, but where did Zay move to?
He's in Phoenix. He's part of that group of 5.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, and there'll be more, because remember, there was 1. And then there was 2. And I was always nudging. And then there was 3 for a while. And then 4 came around. And then 5. So, you know, this is great, because base 1 was 2.25 years ago is when it started. And it had been talked about for 8 or 9 months before it came to fruition. So that's as a reference. So it's less than 3 years that the base project has really been taken serious. And now there's 5 bases. So what does that spell out for 30 years from now? 10 years from now? Even just 2 years from now? There's a lot of variables that we don't know, such as TikTok has 2 million views, such as I have 850 affiliate link clicks and nobody bought. So 850 people went to the Dragons Lair page and 0 bought. That's fine though. We're calibrating. I'll hack the code. Like I told Powerhouse, I solved the Rubik's Cube when I was in high school. You just got to find a lot of wrong ways.
I never solved that Rubik's Cube, that darn thing.
Yeah.
It was the only.
I was part of a mastermind.
Oh.
We helped each other.
Of Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, it was our calculus class. The last 3 weeks of calculus, we finished and did the AP tests and everything. So that's what we did for hobby. Yeah, man. So that's, that's the TikTok staff. That's the straight line staff. Arslan just joined the TikTok staff. So he's plowing through all those lectures and, we're continuously learning new things. And we have, 2, maybe 3 million at this point. Mo Rock loves you. Mo Rock just joined my stream. That's fantastic. Mo Rock, if you're still on and you hear this, you're not. He already left. Damn it. Well, thanks for tuning in. I was going to say your testimony is on the website, so go check it out.
Yeah, I could say something about bases and whatnot, and I guess my experience at different bases.
You want to come around towards camera?
Enough? I think I'm not loud enough. There you go.
Shamir here from Base 4 Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Who's also lived in Base 2. Also lived in the original Base 2, which didn't last. Right?
Yes.
You were there.
Yeah, with TL.
New Mexico in Roswell. And you've lived in the most bases.
Yeah, I've also lived with Michael Green.
Yeah, and lived in like makeshift tent bases.
On. Hey, real quick, man, my nigga Shamir, man, he showed me love when I was fucked up, man, with the shit. He said, "Oh, I gotta shout him out real quick, cause I was feeling bad." So that's Shamir, man. That's the type of motherfucker Shamir is, though, man. Don't take it for granted, though. I don't never take it for granted. I know that.
It's all love. It's all love. Thank you for that. Yeah. So if I could just say something about these different bases.
Yes. Go ahead. They'll still see you. I'm just setting it up over here.
Yeah, the words social dynamics, right? What you really come to realize as you get higher up into IMC, as you raise up the ranks, or even as you just come around the tribe more, is that you see social dynamics as more than just like, say, pickup. You also see the dynamics within the tribe, the dynamics within each individual house, and how everybody relates to each other, and how you see the evolution of people with how they interact with the tribe themselves. So say, for example, the dynamics are so different in all these different bases. Initially, when I moved into base 2, well, in New Mexico with TL, it was just me and him. So I really wouldn't know how to describe that dynamic. It was just, we were just bunking out, talking about the process, and just our experiences with women and how we could learn from them. And it was just 2 guys kind of shooting the shit. Very casual, laid back. Base 2, I didn't even really know much about the guys that I moved in with. Initially, it was me and Alex Palacio, Will Rios, and Najim. I didn't know them very well, so we kind of found a way to relate to each other. It involved a lot of humor, and just a similar goal, in that we moved to San Jose for a reason. We moved here to get closer to AZD, to further our personal evolution and whatnot, and just raise up the ranks within IMC. So we kind of bonded on that. At base 4, even the way that we interact in the house is calibrated towards how we would be in the club, if that makes sense, if I'm using the right words there. So it's all very high energy, right? Even at base 4, because we've calibrated to these high energy environments. So our interactions with each other even are similar to how they be in the club. You know, it's not very deep. We don't really get real deep on concepts and whatnot. I mean, every now and then, sure, but a lot of it is humor and surface level funny stuff, and just good vibes, you know. At base one, what I can feel is different. Obviously, I mean, it's a different energy in that it's I don't know if lower energy is the right word, because I don't want to imply that it's like it's less, but yeah, I think lower energy is right. I mean, it's a stoic temple, right? So the way that the guys interact with each other is different. The communication is a little more precise. Again, this is just my perception of me being here the last few days and me having lived here before, is that yeah, you calibrate differently. And I see that that's a big part of the appeal of being here, is that calibrating to this specific dynamic will do wonders for you when you leave and you then have to interact with other people. Just because, I mean, the emphasis is intelligence and precision in communication. At least that's the way that I perceive it. Yeah. Also, I mean, since the last couple of days I've been here, it's a very homey feeling. It's a very loving, like family kind of feeling being at base one, if you've ever been here. AZD has a way of, you know, making it to where whatever tech is being taught, the energy of that is kind of flowing throughout the whole house. And you see that everybody individually is practicing that at the same time, right? Where in Vegas, that almost kind of becomes secondary, because our focus is learning mystery method and pickup, and even the way our schedule is set up is that, say, for example, we wake up later than everybody else. So, I mean, if you've been around for a while, you know that everybody has a wake up time. In IMC, most people guys wake up around 5, 6 a.m. In Vegas, it's not like that. My wake up time in Vegas is 10 a.m. I'm probably up by 9 a.m. But that's just because we're out late 3 to 4 a.m. every night practicing a skill set. So there's no really 4-hour morning routine where I'm super grounded and I'm super tapped in. So as soon as I turn on lecture, I'm in the perfect state of mind to receive all of these teachings. A lot of the time I'm not, just given the nature of the environment. But here again, the emphasis is on that. Everybody works their schedule around the AZD lectures. And again, that just adds to the dynamic of the whole thing. Yeah, it's very comfortable here, man. I enjoy it. It's a different energy for sure, but you'd have to experience it. You have to experience how quickly you can feel at home in a place like this, with guys who know how to acknowledge communication properly, with guys who value you as a human being and the intelligence that you have. Yeah. I felt like I was just riffing there and saying a lot. I hope you got something from that.
Any questions for Shamir?
All right.
So you so it's very comfortable here and calibrated around AZD lectures. The schedules all are, versus, so in Vegas they're not calibrated around the schedule, the AZD lectures?
Not as much. There's times where we're out doing something during that time. And I mean, we try to be home for those lectures as much as possible, but it does fade a little bit into the background, and pickup does take more of priority. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what happens. Yeah, for sure. Also, I mean, I caught on to this today, is that, so there's a family, we're living, it's kind of, I don't know if it's an apartment or a condo or what it is. It's a condo. Right outside the patio for the last 4 or 5 hours, there's been a family having their Thanksgiving dinner, like in the middle of the driveway, right? As soon as you step out onto the patio, you can see it.
Yeah, they have like a parking lot to their apartments.
Yeah. So initially I saw that, and there was this feeling in me that I wouldn't have had if I was in Vegas, if it was the exact same situation. Me now going out to the patio and smoking a joint, or like a cigarette, excuse me, feels like a violation, like I'm violating their family time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Vegas, the exact same thing could be going on. But I guess just the state of mind that environment has put me in is that initially I might have that resistance. Then I'd be like, fuck these guys. How long are they going to be here? I'm just going to go do whatever I got to do. Yeah, but here it's not like that. Here, the same thing is happening, but I just feel a lot more compassion for these people. Again, I don't know if that has to do with the environment. That's how I'm perceiving it, is that Vegas is a certain type of place that turns you into a certain type of person versus here. So seeing that and being able to measure that today was big for me.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel your transition has been, like, from before when you first started going in the clubs to now? And do you feel like you would be burnt out on being in the club? Like, you think you could ever feel a day when it's like, damn, fuck this club shit?
That happens a lot, dude. That happens a lot. Yeah, I feel like every other week I get burnt out of the clubs. It takes a lot of energy, dude. I mean, it doesn't take energy just being in the club. Sure, it takes energy to survive in an environment like that, and not look completely out of place. It takes even then more energy to actually consistently open sets and just maintain a good vibration and always smile. Heroes always getting on a smile, bro. Smile. Everyone's always got a smile, and that's the right thing to do in a club. You should be smiling. It takes a lot out of you, So you wake up the next day. It's this day starting off a little slow. It's a little groggy. If you guys were on that lecture where AZD described what it was like living with the pickup artists, where he would be up at 7, 8 a.m. and they don't wake up till 12 p.m. and they're moving all slow. Then all of a sudden 7 p.m. hits and there's music in the house. And then you feel the energy start to come up. Being in Vegas is kind of like a mix of those two, We're not waking up at noon, but it is a bit slower getting the day started, And initially when I got there, I was trying to find a remedy to that. I thought maybe there's something in my discipline that's lacking that could change that. At some point, I just kind of surrendered to it because I was like, I think that's really just the nature of the beast and what I'm doing here. I'm not supposed to have a 4-hour monk process in the morning. If anything, I need enough of a process to get me in a prime state of mind to go out at night and do what I have to do. So it's different in that aspect. The clubs do burn me out, yeah. There's been days where I really didn't want to go, but I knew it was the right thing to go, and I did go, and it ended up being a really good night. There's days where everyone in the house is like, fuck, dude. Oh, man. You guys want to watch a movie? Yeah, let's watch a movie, and we just kind of gather around and, enjoy each other's company that way. So yeah, I mean, it's the nature of it. You're going to get burnt out, and there's going to be days where you're really excited to go back. There's going to be days where you haven't been at the club in so long, and you go back, and it's kind of like a shock to the system again. You got to readjust your nervous system to that high energy environment. The way the girls are there, just the fact that everyone is there for one thing. They're there for sex. And it's clear on everybody's face. If you don't stay in it, you're gonna lose it. So it's like that balance of staying in it and not getting burnt out. So yeah, I hope I answered that question. Yeah, I answered your question. Damn, Trey, you always look so comfortable. Hella comfortable over there in Jamaica.
Yeah, bro. I'm actually on the beach right now.
You're at the beach, dude.
No, I'm
Where's
just
the
fucking around.
beach, bro?
I'm just fucking around. The beach is like 10 minutes away.
Oh, right.
I'm actually I'm on my on my bed, as in the ground.
Yeah, that's the same background that I always see.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, cheers. So yeah. I don't want to lose the flow of the podcast. I think Yogi Chris is sending some messages. So, Jesse, what's up with you, dude? I've never talked to you before.
Hey, stop, bro. What's going on?
Oh, wow. I didn't expect you to have an accent. What's up, brother? Where are you? Or where are you living?
My girl, because I told her that she can't listen to the classes and lectures, bro. She
Yeah.
tiptoes around when I got the laptop open. It's funny. It's like, can I go? Can I go?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, bro. No, I live in New Zealand, man.
Say it again.
I live in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah, bro.
Got a
Yeah.
lot of New Zealanders. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So there's three of us. There's Phoenix. I'm not quite sure who the other guy is. Maybe Chris will be able to tell you, but yeah, there's not many of us here, bro. That's why I want to come over for a little bit and stay at one of the bases so I could then bring what I learned over back to New Zealand. And because it's quite bad here, man. Like there's not much mentorship when it comes to young men. No, nothing. And the court systems are very biased towards they go in the favor of the woman in majority of cases. Like if the woman bears the child, they get all the rights, essentially.
I see.
Not really, but they push more for that. Like it's a real liberal kind of living here, man. So just seeing AZD stuff, how he operates, seeing the videos where he's got 4 girls around him and he's just stroking his beard, bro, looking like a Persian prince,
Mhm.
He's like talking to this girl, and what do you think over here? And like entertaining this one here, and like, bro, I was just like, what the fuck? I just can't doing this. And yeah,
This is kind
I
of-
signed up straight away, bro. I was like, fuck, this is craziness. Because he's not what you would think, right? It'd be like I don't know what you would think, but it's not what I imagined. And then he was just so congruent with what he was talking about, how he was behaving. I was just like, fuck, I gotta learn from this dude. There's something I'm missing. It's like when you're younger and you see people with a Ferrari or something, well, how the fuck? Where's the disconnect here? How does that person have that? And I am where I am, So looking for him, bro. Yeah, it's where I am here, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I did hear about somebody who was wanting to come and stay for like at base 2 for a year. Was that you?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, something. I just wanted to get the ball rolling. Like I've already told the people in my life that I'll be off to America at some point. I don't know when. I don't know for how long, but at some point I'll be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have some questions for you, man. First, I mean, hold on, like vaccine passes and stuff. Is that still a thing over there? Or how does that work?
Yeah, bro. But if you're a sovereign man and you know your rights,
Uh-huh.
that can't affect you, man, unless they're holding you down and forcibly doing it, which they can't because of the Nuremberg Code. But they'll find loopholes around fucking anything. But we have just abolished any system or something. But yeah, there was a point where if you didn't have the vaccine, you couldn't work. Oh no, not that you couldn't work. They coerced the bosses into firing people or making it harder for them.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't go into shops if we didn't wear masks and things like that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
basically anywhere they can control. But they weren't forcing you, but anywhere, anything you wanted to do, bro, you needed to be vaccinated, wearing a mask, basically taking it up the arse. It was crazy, man. And people just lined up. As long as people are safe, they're happy, They'd rather get rid of their freedoms, who they are as people, all for the idea of safety, which we never needed in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds a lot like California, actually. Yeah, I mean, during the time of the pandemic when it was like at its peak in 2020, I don't know how long you've been around, but during that time, everybody here was just completely not doing that, like doing the opposite. When I say everybody here, I mean everybody in IMC.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Yeah. So all the base 1 guys, even us, there was a crew of petitioners. It was me, Johnny Ranger, Michael, Adrian. We were running around California doing petitions, and we were having similar experiences. But I mean, we were those freedom fighters, We were those guys that would go into the grocery store and challenge this and challenge that. And we got away with it a lot of the time, and it was a lot of fun. Different times, you know. I wouldn't go in and violate store workers like that again. But during that time, it felt like the right thing to do. I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna it's like the Trojan horse, you know, like they're gonna secretly give you a gift, but really they're just taking away bit by bit until we have no
Yeah, I agree. It was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah, and times change. So yeah, I mean, Jesse, what's the extent of your your studies with AZD? How did you learn about him? And I know Yogi Chris has already probably asked you these things, and he already knows the answer to this, but I'm curious.
No, it was just through YouTube, man.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying like, fuck, you have $97 to go buy Taco Bell, but you can't. $97 to piss off in the weekend, and like he just, it was just, it kept ringing in my head, man. And I'd go from my life, like after watching his shit, seeds were planted, and it would just be like, fuck, I'm not normal. I'm not the same as these people. And then he basically brought to life everything that I'd ever thought, but actually verbalized it, bro. And then that's when I knew that I was lacking in communication, because he's able to do that because it flows so nicely out of his mouth, you know, like everything's so fluid. He's had such deep life perspectives that I've looked for, me personally, like the closest thing I've ever had was my 3 years study of the Tao, man, the Tao Te Ching. And that's the closest thing. Like I couldn't get it with Christianity, Hinduism a little bit, Buddhism I align with a bit, but he's just brought it all into one fucking bundle. And then you get to master women and life and all that other shit too.
Yeah.
There's only upsides for this, man. So I'll just keep showing up, bro, keep doing what I need to do. Like, yeah, I'll be in this for fucking ever, probably.
There you go. Just keep showing up. Shout out to Tony K. Yeah.
Why was that shout out to Tony K?
Tony K is the keep showing up guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. He is the keep showing up guy. Speaking of which, I haven't seen him in a while, actually. I don't remember the last time I saw him on staff meetings, maybe last week. And Tony needs to keep showing up. Let's see where to go from here. Dialogues we got Trey Milano's falling asleep. His eyes rolled back. Oh man, you were just possessed, dude. I swear, by a voodoo demon, just for a quick second. Now you're back, present. Aways is still a still photo. Prophet, IMC Base Phoenix, Sean Murphy, Cirque du Soleil Spanish version, Amigo, and Arslan, Jesse Kirk, and myself with Shamir. Man, those guys really traveled wide and far to get groceries, huh? They haven't come back, have they?
No.
They've been going for like an hour just finding an open grocery store. Man, I didn't even realize it was Thanksgiving until they said that. I'm like, why? Oh, it's Thanksgiving. That's why grocery stores are closed, which doesn't make sense, actually. I mean, it makes sense because people don't want to work, but I would try to have the business open, especially since everyone else is closed, because then you get all the business. Okay. We have an open gathering with the officers. So you'll hear these kinds of perspectives, what training with AZD is like, what the camp experiences are like, in some cases, what the base living experience is like. That's coming up in like 20 minutes. We have Lieutenant Monster, who lives on the East Coast in Alexandria. So he was anointed lieutenant by AZD, which is a mid-level rank. That's a mid to high level rank in IMC. And then we have Fernando, who lives here at base 1. You could say like Shamir's here doing guardianship, and so he's staying residency. It's basically living, we don't have furniture in the sense like we don't have beds, and we sleep on the floor. I've been sleeping on the floor for like 2.5 years. So I don't know if you sleep on the bed or on the floor in Vegas.
Go back and forth.
Back and forth. So he has a bed. We don't have beds here. So he comes and he's on the floor, and that's basically residency, but makes up his room here in the living room. and gets on the group chat. And the group chat is really where it's at. Not to mention you're around in person for 2 lectures a day, every day. And living with the guys that have lived with AZD, because we've all calibrated how we move, how we schedule, how we smell, that's probably it, how we navigate the restroom and the kitchen, and how we just coordinate so many things. Girls, of course, coming in and out. And that's like residency. So Fernandez lived here for 2 years. That's 2 years of residency. So this is 1 week of residency. That's 2 years of residency. Now, Shamir also lived with us for like a month in the garage, or a month and a half, 2 months. So that was cool. And that's why Shamir is such a highly qualified candidate to be a guardian and to eventually be base leader. So start his own base wherever he wants. So all these guys, they're going to follow you. And so that'll be, and then Fernando, then I'll talk, I'll give a little bit, and then we'll each go for like 10 or 15 minutes. So it'll keep it interesting. Who's after me is, I think, Powerhouse and then Oracle. So the 2 Kusei, which is another rank. It's like you have the executive branch in government and you have the judiciary branch in government. So the Kusei are kind of like the judiciary branch, not really. They're more like the free market branch. They're like the CEOs of the big companies and corporations. And they're working hand in hand with the generals and the lieutenants and the captains and whatever, who are like the military branch. We're like a militant organization, like a martial arts military stoic temple. And those are the ranks we have right now. I mean, it's kind of just an analogy. It's really nice, actually, because that's all you really need. I don't know how much you need the judiciary and executive branch. Probably do, actually. Haven't thought that out too well. So in 15 minutes, we go to that, and that'll be a nice transition. You'll see other people's perspectives of the base experience, of the camp experience. You'll hear those teachings translated through their experience into their words, which you may resonate with more. You may comprehend them more or get new and different angles on things. And it makes it more real for you, because agreement also ultimately is going to be the reality. And when you have guys, that's like one of the most powerful aspects of moving into a base, is you have a lot of reality with other guys, whereas all the guys you live with or interact with on a daily basis, you don't have hardly jack shit reality with them. Like just a few interests. If you smoke weed with them, you got reality on weed smoking. And that's where you have rapport. And, if you're into wrestling, and that's where you wrestle with them, or jiu-jitsu or something, and then you got rapport. If you like picking up chicks with them, you got reality with them. That's where you got rapport. And these things ultimately all bleed into each other, because it's your whole life. You want kind of reality on your whole life. And there's some things you can't get from your brothers. Like I got reality on relationships from women, like how I relate with women, and I get reality and agreement with the women, or I get agreement with the women, then there's reality. I have this thing. And when somebody disagrees with it, then it dissipates, it's gone. And, so that kind of depends on the two of you, and there's a whole dynamic with that. And so your level of accountability living in a base goes way high. It must. And not just on the basic man stuff, like wake up, beasting out, paying your bills, whatever, being able to go out and look good, smell good, all that stuff. But really, when women enter the mix, how do you treat your brother's women? How do you treat your woman around your brother? How do you treat your woman when you're by yourself? Because if you feel bad about it, then your brothers will detect that. If you feel good about it, your brothers will detect that. And so your private life becomes very public in those just regular interactions you have in your dwelling space, and what you do with those people when you go out, or like we went on a car ride to fast food or whatever. Like that's time around each other, and it's so consistent that you just become a lot more self-aware of this on this lifestyle, because it doesn't just happen just because you live with guys. You need guys that are pursuing this wisdom, because then you're going to become very much more aware, and you might not know this yet or see it like this yet. It's very profound. You will become more aware of your subconscious mind, because you're living a life of habit, and you're not aware of your habits. So you're carrying with you a mind that is it's giving you effects in life that you're not aware you're causing. Because of how you carry yourself, how you groom yourself, how you talk, how you listen, how you discipline yourself, how you handle. And then when you're around your God, man, there's just so much. It's a generator for maturation. It's like an incubator or something. You mature in the base as a man, as a social being. And men out there separated are gradually becoming inferior to women. But not the men in bases. And so we'll usher in a new wave of lifestyle. It'll take over the planet. They just have to see it's better. Just like you seduce the women, she'll get with you because life is better with you. Men will move into bases when life is better for them. Men sign up for Dragon's Lair. They stay in Dragon's Lair when it's better for them. They sign up for camps when it's better for them. They go through anything and everything to get signed up for camp because it's better for them. And they don't because they don't think it's better for them. And you may be on the edge of living where it would hurt your survival to sign up for camp because you won't eat or something. I mean, it's up to you to make it work and make it that important for yourself. And yeah, obviously we're not trying to take, $1 from someone and then they die. Like, we want you to grow in power and expand in influence and become a messenger of this philosophy in a practical sense, not just parroting it, but living it, being it, attracting people with it, organizing an island of sanity. AZD would call it because it came from L. Ron Hubbard, an island of sanity where people hold responsibility for their actions and their karmas and the destiny of their life. Like Shamir moved to Vegas to change the destiny of his life. True.
It just sounds weird.
Does it sound weird or is it
weird.
touching?
It's just a little flowery.
Is it flowery?
Yeah.
Is it flowery because flowery means it softened something? Did it really
No.
soften it?
No, it didn't soften it. So then flowery is the wrong word. Change the destiny of my, I don't know.
Hey, to stay doing this shit. Hey, that's what Shamir be saying. I'm doing my shit. I'm on
Yeah,
my
man.
shit.
Dude, I mean, cliche. Maybe he laughed because it was cliche.
Yeah, cliche is a good word.
It's interesting. Let's look up cliche. Let's do a little mind melting right here. Then we go to the next thing. Cliche. Definition. A phrase or opinion that is overused and betrays a lack of original thought. Okay, so it's amazing that we miss out on the profound meaning of what I said because you've overheard normies use it.
Wow.
Shamir decided to change his destiny by moving to base Vegas. Hear it differently now.
That hit.
But Trey is right. It was cliche. So maybe my mistake for my intonation of my message, how I delivered it. Not about being understanding enough that you guys would like almost like a social robot trigger a response in you that that can't be as meaningful. What's up?
Can I say something?
Yeah, dialogues.
I wasn't saying it was cliche. I knew what he meant.
Yeah, you're right. It was cliche. We all agreed. It was cheesy.
No. But I'm saying I wasn't saying it was cliche. I understood what you meant. I just got the meaning of. I got what he wanted to mean.
Yeah.
The right word.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cliche. It's almost a Disney phrasing. But this is literally a Disney story. Yeah, laugh about it. Go ahead, laugh about it. My man, the prince, is becoming a king. Go ahead, laugh about it. It's funny. One day it'll be so true. You're laughing about it now because I think nobody else outside of IMC and a lot of people that you regard, they would laugh about it.
man, I remember being in the vessel with this man, and he was like, he always wanted to look like a magician. Now look at him. He look like, every time I see him, he looks like a different magician.
That poof, it's an illusion. In every version, you're not even seeing him. That's the illusion.
You got it now, man. You own that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So I think, are there any more dialogues? Any more dialogues to be had? Camp this month is starting. It's called Mindbender. I think it's going to be very powerful. You know, so Shamir was saying, because I had mentioned subtle communication earlier, and it's true. It's going to be so much in the subtle communication, but it's maybe not such a powerful description or a powerful wording to call it subtle communication. But I'm really telling you, because the difference between the woman loving you and the woman hating you is just as different words. You know, it doesn't take any more or less energy to say those words than these words. But these ones bring out like the hellish devil in her, and these ones bring out like the slutty devil in her. You know what I'm saying? Like this one, she's dripping wet and jumping on you. And this one, she's walking away and rejecting you. And they're just the same amount of energy, it's just different words. Very subtle. You know, a gross difference, that meaning gross, like very physical, would be the difference between like bringing her roses or buying her a car. Like that's a gross difference. It would be like one taking her to the park and one going to her parents' house. Or one taking her to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or whatever, and another one is going to church. Like those are gross differences. Subtle difference is say this or say that. And when you get down to it and how AZD is really going to break it down, which as if I know, but it's going to be what have you subtly communicated to her to make her love you, and the opposite. Yeah, and it's what you're not saying, because it's the wrong things that'll pull her the other direction. You know, there so many of the words that you could choose from, and let's say your English language or whatever language, are going to be the wrong words. And then you need really it's like a Rubik's Cube, dude. You need the right words and the right combination, the right tonalities. And when you find it, then I tell you what, it's not such a trick to solve the Rubik's Cube. Then I'm like blindfolding myself, timing it, trying to get to a minute. Like, you got it. It literally, but then to try to figure out the first time, people have killed themselves not being able to figure out the Rubik's Cube. You could go your whole life and never get it. You know what I'm saying? But then we have a cheat sheet. And then you just have to be able to read the sheet and memorize the sequences and, you know, maybe discover one or two things on your own to really piece it together. So subtle thing, what you're not saying, because to solve the Rubik's Cube, there's only like the right way. Only the right way will get it solved. And you could, it'll be a different right way for each starting position, how the combination is. But you'll eventually get down the mystery method, the straight line of seduction. You'll be on that, and you're in a different place somewhere in the spectrum of possibilities. But you still got to get the first row, and then you got to get the second row, and then you got to get the third row. You know, it's like, it's not going to be one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. It's going to be like a sequence. That's what solves the cube. And you know, the super record holders, the 15-second guys on Rubik's Cube, they jump around, but they've memorized another level, another dimension of thinking, so they don't have to do row, row, row. They have different combinations of how this piece relates to that piece that are sophisticated from so many thousands and thousands of repetitions and pattern recognition. And so they found the right code that leaps that step. But it still adheres to the step of the cube needs to turn this way, and this way. It can only turn at 90 degrees. They can't like Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan, like break it apart and rearrange it, put it back together the right way. Like that's not going on. That doesn't count, right? So subtle communication, you know, this is one of those things I tell people, like getting two girls is 10 times more difficult than getting one. And being dominant, having one consistent, loyal relationship that you are alpha over is 10 times more than it takes to just get a girl that really you're not alpha over, but you could get a girl and get her to like kind of be pair bonded with you, but you're not behaving the right way. And then there are guys out there that don't even have that. So they got to 10X themselves just to get a girl, 10X again just to get a girl in the right dynamic, and then 10X again just to get two girls, which is what they're seeking. But I tell you, you're not going to be set until you have more. It's just 2 is going to give you some breath. You're going to like getting your head above water a little bit. Like, okay, I'm learning to be less and less needy on a deep way. And you'll see, you have years of subconscious pattern in your behavior. You don't even know. Just like basing up with guys, you don't even know when you get 2 girls or more, and that eyes and attention on you and your consistency and your attitude throughout time and everything, you're going to see a lot more of your subconscious mind. And so this is a path of wisdom and practical philosophy that extracts wisdom from the ether, from within, from our character, from our own inner knowingness by how we interact with the lovers and, the tribe's mates. I don't know why I was going to say the mates, because that like crosses it with love, but I saw Jesse Kirk and I was like, the mates, So we're moving over into open gathering. I recommend catch the early bird right now for online or in person, if you can make it in person. I'm looking at you always. Here, December 16, 17, 18 is going to be spectacular, incredible, and just totally change your life. How you communicate, it'll never be the same again. And then you'll have different effects for the rest of your life, forever and ever and ever and ever. Like the value of that's really a lot more than what it's charged. It's just, people got to come and practice. Like you're not going to get it just by like attending and it's like uploaded into you, downloaded into you or whatever. It's going to be some kind of consistency and the tribe and the group effort. And there's like a whole community effort to you succeeding in this. And I mean, this is what we're doing. We're creating this so that more people succeed. I mean, honestly, it's not enough because the planet has a lot of normies. Os,